You're right, Neymar. Yeah, it's on your.
Controversial footballer Neymar looks like he is possibly set to leave Paris Saint-Germain after a controversial entrance to the club over, I think he was the highest transfer of all time, a lot of incentives to go to the club, they gave him a hotel as part of his package. This guy was a big kudo for them and it never really worked out. He wanted to go back to Barcelona. That didn't work out. He's still at PSG, but it seems, as from a number of sources, that he wants out and that PSG are possibly willing to let him go. Maybe Mbappe has sanctioned it. Maybe Mbappe has said, yes, you can go, because obviously he runs that place now. According to Santi JFM, as Revel said to me before we went live, is that he is very reliable. I don't know about the guy. He says PSG and Luis Campos are ready to let Neymar lead the club this summer. They will sell the Brazilian forward if they receive a satisfactory offer. Now, you would think that PSG, having paid an extortionate fee, I think it was over 200 million for that guy, that they would want a relatively extortionate fee to get him, because even at 30 years old, he's just one of these players that will cost you a fortune purely because of his profile. I mean, I think his attitude absolutely stinks, and we'll talk about the possibility of him coming to City, because City have been thrown in the mix. Football Total CF also says Paris Saint-Germain would accept offers starting at 50 million to sell Neymar this summer. So there is the figure that has been touted, 50 million euro. How would you feel, people at home? Get down in the comments and leave a like on the idea of City paying 50 million euro for Neymar. And the thing is, other than the fact that Raheem Sterling looks like he's set to leave the club, I wouldn't even make this video. I wouldn't even pay any attention to it. But the reason there is that 5% chance that this could formalise into something serious is because Raheem Sterling left the club. And I know that someone on the Blue Moon forum said that if Sterling leaves, City will look to replace him with some internet-breaking name. Don't know how true that is, but that's just been said. So maybe Neymar is that internet-breaking name. Would Pep want to manage Neymar? Probably not, because he's a spoiled brat, really, isn't he? And then L'Equipe says Neymar's contract will be automatically extended until 2027 on July 1st. The Brazilian will therefore be tied to PSG for another 5 years. So as it stands at the time of recording, if Neymar wants to move club, he's kind of got to do it in the next 6 days, and you would think for a transfer of that magnitude, 6 days isn't really enough time, is it? Rebel, Neymar is a player who is always in controversy. He openly has a stinking attitude to football, and I think he's a very poor professional. If you're watching this, Neymar, hold that, take it on the chin. I think I genuinely feel that he's not someone I'd want in the City dressing room. How do you feel about
it? Exactly the same. I don't think you can doubt his football ability. I think he's unbelievable. I think him as a footballer, he's one of the purest footballers I've ever seen. He's just, like we always just say, flair. He is flair embodied. He can score goals from anywhere. But again, it comes down to it. Do you want someone with that level of ego in that change room? It never works out. You look at players in the past like Torres and Sané. All of them have either had inflated egos or not been committed. They've always fucked off. Pep doesn't work like that. Pep doesn't take a player with a huge ego and says, just, I can take it down. If you have a huge ego in that change room, you are gone. That's why I don't think he's going to bring him in. I don't think there's a possibility of it happening. I'll be dead honest. I think if, let's say, God forbid, Sterling goes, which, I'll be honest, I don't think is going to happen, but I think we'll get someone young in, or maybe just kind of settle with what we have. I can't see Neymar happen. I really can't. I can't see him looking at the attitude that he's given to football over the last, 5, 6, how long has he been there now? 5 or 6 years?
At PSG?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just, he's never really, every time they've won League One, he hasn't really gotten out of first gear. He hasn't had to move an inch. When it comes to those big games, it comes to those Champions League games, he's either injured. Again, that happens every February and March. He gets injured or has personal reasons that he can't turn up. We all know why. He can't turn up. He can't play. That doesn't work. That doesn't work for City. You can't just turn around and take a little holiday a week. That's what it is. PSG is being run by Mbappe now. Maybe he won't get his little holiday. Maybe that's why he's kicking up wanting to leave. But by Jesus, if he's coming over trying to act like that, there's no chance it's going to happen. Absolutely no chance. He'll be kicked out of the club if that happens. You remember what happened when Tevez tried going on a little holiday for a few weeks. It won't fly.
The thing with Neymar is he is the most wasted talent I've ever seen. I think in terms of raw talent and ability, Neymar is up there with some of the best names to ever kick a ball. There's no question about that. But he's absolutely ruined himself and his possibility to be up there with your Messis and Maradonas and these kind of names purely because of his attitude and his behaviour and the way he is as a person. And you know what? If you don't agree, that's fair enough. But I think, as Rebel said, his inflated ego will be not something we would want at City. And I think you kind of touched on it briefly. If Sterling does go, which I personally think it will, I know you don't think it will. I think Sterling is as good as gone. we have more than enough firepower. We have more than enough in the toolbox to go on. Grealish, Foden, and whatnot. But there is that part of me the childish part of me, the little 5% of my brain kind of goes, it would be kind of exciting, having Neymar.
I do definitely agree with that. I definitely agree that you're looking at this superstar and saying, look, he's a superstar. If it wants to happen, it could definitely happen. But there is that small little part of me, like, this man is Neymar. This was the top 3 player in the world for about 4 years. I'd love to see it happen, but I don't really.
It would boil an untold amount of piss. If City signed Haaland and Neymar in the same summer, it would boil a stupid amount of piss. And I think maybe one of the reasons Neymar wants to leave PSG, or reportedly wants to leave PSG, is to do with that whole Mbappe now running the show thing. It is common knowledge that Neymar originally left Barcelona because he didn't want to be in the shadow of Messi for his whole career, and that was a silly move. He should have stayed in the shadow of Messi for another couple of years, and then he would have actually become the Messi of that club. He would have been the face of Barcelona Football Club right now, and for the last 5-6 years. I know they're in a bit of a rut, but that was a silly move from him. And then you bring him into our dressing room where, like it or not, he's still not going to be the biggest name. With De Bruyne and Haaland and Foden coming up, if you ask me, these guys are more important and bigger than Neymar is as far as football goes. So he's only going to come in and start complaining very quickly, if you ask me. And the way Pep operates is that he likes his team to be very harmonic. He likes everybody to be equal. We're all the same. No one's better than anybody else. No one's more important than anyone else. Obviously, some players need to play every week because they're really good at their roles, so Pep will favour them, like your De Bruyne's, like your Bernardo's. But as far as the dynamic of the dressing room goes, he wants everyone to feel like no one's more important than the other, and the wage structure is quite important as well. So Neymar would probably damage our wage structure quite heavily. And I know a Manchester City fan talking about damaging wage structure, some of you might be laughing because of the financial power Manchester City do have. But for Pep, he is clearly a firm believer in making sure everyone is on the same page and we're all working in tandem. What do you think about that, Rel? I think his ego and his controversy and everything that surrounds him, and also his injury record. I think his injury record is something that has to bear in mind. Going from PSG to City into a far more physical league, a faster league, and more games. I think you'd find Neymar is not only missing quarterfinals of the Champions League every year, he's missing a lot more than just that. He's missing
quarterfinals of the Champions League. He'll get into that stage where he's not playing in, like, let's say, if we get to a Carabao Cup final, he won't be playing that because that coincides, all of that. He won't be playing there. FA Cup games, he could just as easily drop out. And again, I know you say we usually field the second team anyway. It shouldn't make a difference. You should be around for every game, unless, of course, you're getting those bad injuries. But it's always the same every single time, every single cycle of a season. He misses a specific part, and City can't afford that. Especially if they're losing one of their star players, they can't. But it does come down to how much does he really want to win? Like, let's just say on the off chance we bring him in, right? How much if he comes in, he's already articulated to Pep Guardiola, this is how much I want to win. How much realistically do you think he's going to want to win? If he wants to come in and win the Premier League, win everything, he's going to have to play 40 plus games a season. And he hasn't done that. He hasn't done that since his Barcelona days. I'll be honest, I wasn't really looking at them that much. I was more so just Premier League when he was at Barcelona. I didn't care enough about the European football unless City were playing it. But by Jesus, he recently has had an awful injury record. He doesn't seem like he wants to win. He always seems like he's strolling around. I remember he gave an absolutely piss poor showing in the Champions League final when they played Bayern during the lockdown when there was no one there. It was dreadful. I thought he was pissed, and I thought PSG themselves were awful. But that's what it has to be. Is he going to articulate how much he wants to win if this is to happen? Yes. But will he counter up on it? No. I don't think he will. I don't think he wants to win enough. I don't think he has the drive about him anymore. Because, like, let's be fair, he's won everything. He's won everything with Barcelona. I don't know if his drive's been gone for 5 years, but it seems like it has been. I don't think it's going to change if he comes to City, to be dead honest with you.
I've watched Neymar's documentary on Netflix. Really good documentary. I would recommend if anybody watching this is interested in understanding why I feel, and I've said the things about Neymar's personality that I have. I'm not just making false accusations here. Neymar says in this documentary, I don't actually care about football the way I probably should, but and then he goes on to say, quote unquote, I don't give a fuck. I am who I am. I'm not going to change. And his dad's always up his arse about that, saying you need to be more professional. And Neymar gives him the 2 fingers. He's a stinking attitude. This is not something you want in the dressing room. But like I said, there is that child in me that the little 5% kind of goes, yeah, but it'd be kind of exciting at the same time to see Neymar in a City shirt. But no, I think in terms of keeping the harmony in the dressing room, keeping everyone on the same level, as I said, on the same page, and the dynamic working the way Pep likes it, Neymar is not what City need. Listen, this video was purely just to air it out, have a chat about Neymar, what he's doing, and what City were briefly linked with him. Get down below in the comments, let us know your thoughts on the whole thing. Where he will end up, I would imagine he'll just stay at PSG. His contract is due to extend now next week. But yeah, we want to just come on, have a chat about it. Let us know all your thoughts down in the chat. Leave a like if you would. Helps us massively and helps other people find the channel. The community's growing, people. The community's growing. And of course, subscribe. We've just passed 2.7k. We are now within 300 of our big goal of 3k. So do help us on that if you would. Good night and God bless.